Greetings, Dungeon Delvers and fellow DMs, and welcome back to the DM's Den. Before we start going in-depth on races, it's important to understand the racial terminology. So I'll be talking about different racial traits. Let's understand what those are. First off, everyone's favorite, ability score increases. Each race will give you a bonus to a certain ability score. Maybe you'll get +2 Constitution and then +1 Dexterity. It's very cool, especially in 5th edition. I should note, in 5th edition, you will never be punished for taking a certain race. No race gives you a detriment to an ability score. They either give a bonus to an ability score or they give you nothing to that ability score, but never a negative. Unlike other tabletop RPGs and previous editions that would give you +2 Constitution, +1 Dexterity, but -2 Intelligence because they're strong and fast, but they're kind of dumb. Instead of being punished for that, they just adjusted the features a little bit so that you are always supported. You always get something for taking a race, which is a good model to follow. Cool. I will give you an age range. A lot of it in relation to humans because those tend to be our reference points as we ourselves are human by our own experience as a person. I will give you those bit of ranges so you get an understanding of just how old or how young or how fast your race matures. Many races have baseline alignments or alignments that they tend to move toward. Alignment is a little bit of a fuzzy line for me, just because as a person begins to play the game, they'll begin to recognize their alignment. Alignment tends to be something for veteran players, that they fully understand, okay, that's how a lawful good character behaves. Okay. Now in my next character, I'm going to be a lawful good character. Or I'm going to be lawful evil and see what happens. Or I'm going to be chaotic and see what happens. That tends to be more of a player choice than it is a racial choice. But each race can have alignments that they tend toward. That doesn't mean you have to be that alignment. Size. Whether they are a small, medium, or large creature. Depending on what you are, you might have certain bonuses or detriments to certain ability checks or certain scores. Generally, everyone is assumed to be medium unless otherwise specified. Speed. Your speed is calculated by a number of feet. If you are working with a grid system with miniatures, each square on the grid is representative of 5 feet. So if you have a speed of 30 feet, during your turn, you can travel 6 squares because 30 divided by 5 is 6. You can travel up to 6 squares during your turn. You have 6 squares of movement. If you're doing it just by description and maybe a whiteboard visually, you can move number of feet. And a lot of things will be specified by number of feet, so you can move 30 feet. Okay, cool. I will also tell you what languages you start off speaking just based upon your race alone. Remember, your class and even backgrounds and further training through the DM and through playing can give you more languages, but these will be the starting languages based upon your race and what you would have been exposed to in that race and that culture. And finally, many of the races, not all, but many of them have sub-races. So extra branches. So you'll select elf, and then the elf has 3 branches coming out from it that you select one of those branches. So you get the initial benefits of being an elf, and then other benefits from selecting one of those branches, one of those sub-races. And I'll go through each of those sub-races if the race has a sub-race. On top of the extra racial traits, there are also features that are specific to each race, and those have special names, and I will just talk about each one as they come up. It won't just be broken down into alignment, size, speed. Those are generalities for across all the races. They all have something like that, except for the sub-races that are peppered throughout. Not every race has a sub-race. And if they don't have a sub-race, it's because they have other features that sort of trump that sub-race. They trump the need for the sub-race, which is also cool. All of that was just to make sure that the terminology is extra clear. If that's all you needed, you can click away from this video. If you want to go to a certain race, specifically, we're going to be talking about the Dwarf next, so if you're in for that, stay tuned. If you want the other races, links can be found in the description below, or you can also click on their name right over here. So I'll just list them, and I'll link them. And I'll just twiddle my thumbs here for a moment. I'll take my buddy Cree over here, and I'll just pet him for a little bit. Unless you are into small, fuzzy, stuffed animals with beans in their face. Ah, jeez. Okay, enough of that. Wow. Jeez. Thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode of the DM's Den. If you are interested in other videos, you can click the random video that's probably playing right now above all the flames, cooking my face off. If you are from the Book of Faces, you can also find my Facebook page right here. And if you are just overflowing in gold, you have way too much gold in your bag of holding, maybe you could spend some of it. I am running a Patreon, so you can also find that right here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't put any pets in your handy haversack. Trust me, it's a bad plan. See ya!